Good morning. Welcome to your Monday morning, early morning intuitive guidance for Labor Day. Happy Labor Day weekend. I hope you all had a good time. Well, some of you probably still are having a good time. The traffic will pick up later today and things will be crazy. But glad you're here right now. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum, America's kick-ass coach and psychologist. Here with some words of wisdom to get us rolling today. And I'm not surprised this deck popped up today because the card's very relevant for when we have a day where hopefully there's a little bit of pause to think about some things. So it's the Ascended Masters deck, and I no longer credit the author because she has chosen to step away from all of her work in this regard and has asked not to be credited for this stuff. So it is. Ascended Masters deck. Welcome to whomever just popped on. Oh, Diane, good morning, good morning. Glad you are here. We've got a good card for today, and I think we kind of had this one recently, but I have some additional thoughts on it. So our card for today is Open Your Heart to Love, and the Ascended Master is Jesus. Open your heart to love. So let's just take a minute. I'm going to put my card back in here so I don't lose my page. And I want you to just rub your hands together. Morning, Joe. Welcome. Glad you are here. Our card for today is Open Your Heart to Love. So just rub your hands together. Then I want you to place, good morning, Mara. Place your left hand over your heart and then your right hand over your left. I want you to just breathe right here. We are opening our heart to love. And not just in the comfortable way that we always do, but in a deeper, compassionate way for all beings, including Mother Earth. And as you just sit here with your hands on your chest, breathing deeply and easily, I'm going to share the card with you and then I'm going to share some thoughts. So our card again is Open Your Heart to Love. It says, everything you desire and every prayer that you seek comes as a result of opening your heart to both sending and receiving love. So right now, you're both sending through your hands and receiving through your heart that love. You've got the circle going. And then you can branch that out to others, including those with whom you have difficulty, including those with whom you may never meet. Your heart is the gateway of receptivity. I love that. Your heart is the gateway of receptivity. So we want to be sure we're keeping it open. We need to check. Good morning, Pat. Glad you're here. What we're doing is we've just rubbed our hands together, create some friction. Left hand over heart, right hand over left, and we're just breathing while I'm reading the card. Your heart is the gateway of receptivity. Good morning, Carolyn. Good morning, good morning. Glad you are here. We're putting hands over heart right now and just breathing love in a circle. So our hands are giving the love, they're the transmitter, and our heart is receiving the love. The heart's also sending the love. We get this nice loop going, all right? Your heart is the answer to every question you have about your love life, relationships, health, life purpose, and so forth. You know I've always been a big proponent of your mind is meant to be in service of your heart and soul. Your mind isn't running the show, okay? So holding our hands right here is a nice way to remind ourselves of that. Let's see what else we have. The more you allow yourself to love, the greater depth and meaning your life holds. Jesus and the other ascended masters will support you in this endeavor, ensuring that you're protected and safe as you open your heart to love. And again, we may not be totally safe on this earth plane, but we are always safe in our soul. Always. It's indestructible. Never ends. Never ends. Even when we leave this physical being. I was thinking about that just a moment ago because a send out cards announcement just popped up for someone who, young woman, I think she had 2 children at that point, and she died in a car accident. Her husband survived, the kids survived, and she died. That was many years ago, maybe 10, 15 years ago. But I remember how it struck me at the time because I think she was like in her late 20s or early 30s. And she's out of body now, but that doesn't mean she isn't energetically still around, right? So, additional meanings for this card. To manifest a soulmate relationship, heal any fears you have about giving or receiving love. And again, not easier said than done, obviously, but not to be worried about, do we get hurt? Because in the slogging along through relationships, it does happen. You know, a friend doesn't return a phone call, or someone doesn't show up when they say they're going to, or someone drops a ball in our lives. Shit happens. Shit happens. But to open ourselves to love anyway, I like that word anyway, it's really allows us to be who we're meant to be to the fullest extent that we're meant to be it. So many of us have untapped potential in many areas of our life, but certainly in love. Okay? Forgive those who seem to have hurt you. I'm going to circle that word seem, because things happen for our own edification. We have things we can learn from. Even if someone is behaving heinously with us, what are we meant to learn from that? We can divorce ourselves from the method that we're learning it and just go with, what am I meant to learn from this? Be loving with yourself. That's one that most of us can work on, because the things we say to ourselves, we would never say to our best friend. And I like that as a rule of thumb, okay? If you wouldn't say it to your best friend, do not be saying it to yourself. When you catch yourself saying something awful to you, like, dumbass, why didn't you think of that ahead of time? Stop. Out loud say, well, I made a mistake. Neutralize it in some way. The more you practice doing that, the easier it will become, and those little slips become fewer and fewer. Do energy work to open your heart chakra. So that's actually part of what you're doing right now with your hands on your chest. You're sending energy to yourself, you're receiving energy from yourself, and that will open up that flow. So I want to look for something here quick. Oh, here it is. Cool. It's from a religious scholar, and there's a part in there that I just want to share with you, because I think some people are getting very, 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 very narrow in their religious viewpoints. And sometimes it helps to stretch that a little bit, to make a little bigger ground for that, all right? So here's the part in the card where it talks about the ascended master, in this case, Jesus. Jesus' message of love and forgiveness was profound and led to many demonstrations of miraculous healings. Jesus helps anyone who calls upon him, regardless of the person's religious or spiritual beliefs. I always think of Tosha Silver with that. She was raised Jewish. She has a huge family lineage of rabbis, and she fell in love with Jesus. So there's space, there's room, there's opportunity for all. Call upon Jesus for help in healing yourself or others, emotionally, physically, or mentally. And that helping others, praying on behalf of others. My hope for you would be that you would pray for however this is meant to unfold. Divine unfolding, whatever's in that person's highest and best good, as opposed to praying for how you think it ought to turn out. So what I wanted to share with you a little bit of is a writing by Jim Palmer. And if you're interested, send me a little note via email. So it's Bonnie@empowermentandpurpose.com, saying that you'd like a copy of this thing, because I think it's going to be really cool. We're actually going to do it this coming Thursday evening for our Episcopal Church, the meditation that I do every week. So if you'd like to be a part of that live discussion, let me know that in an email too. So in the email, you can let me know if you'd like a copy of what I'm about to share some of with you, and let me know if you'd like the link to join us on Thursday night for, it's a half an hour. We do the readings, we do a little bit of prayer, and then we do a discussion on this reading. And so in this reading, what I thought was really interesting about it was, this man is saying, in my view, Jesus and Paul would not have gotten along well, and Jesus would have been dismayed by many of the concepts that Paul devised. No other individual shaped the Jesus story adopted by the church more than Paul. Isn't that interesting? So the whole post is basically about how he sees that Paul has unduly influenced our faith base here in America, and how really he doesn't think that's where Jesus would have been coming from on a lot of this stuff. So I just thought it was very interesting. I want to see if I can find that one little part though. He says, I find it curious that practically every creed of the church, whether the early ecumenical creeds, the Roman Catholic creeds, or the Protestant creeds, are statements that outline the theological positions and doctrines of the church, but hardly have any of the teachings of Jesus in them. A person doesn't have to be a Paul hater. He was doing the best he could, but one should look upon Christian theology with some skepticism, given that you can hardly find Jesus anywhere in it. We painted Jesus white and dressed him up in Christian theology, but the brown-skinned Middle Eastern Jew who turned religion on its head got lost some 2,000 years ago on the dusty roads of Nazareth. And I thought that was a really cool and profound way to capture this pivotal point that we're at in society at this point. Things have been hijacked in a lot of ways. That's kind of what he's saying here. Hijacked through Paul's views versus Jesus's views, and then hijacked again as other people made it more and more and more dogmatic. So I like this card because, again, this is what Jesus stood for. Open your heart to love. Open your heart to love. And at least this rendering of him looks a little less white. It certainly doesn't look like how he probably really looked, but we've whitewashed him quite a bit. But I like the message of the card: love and forgiveness, love and forgiveness, love and forgiveness. And there was something I was reading yesterday, I think that was a Richard Rohr thing, where he was talking about the prodigal son, and that we as humans just don't get it, why the prodigal son was welcomed back home. It doesn't seem, and as the older brother who was enraged and put out that the younger brother was welcomed back so joyously, we don't get it either. We have this fairness thing that really is only part of the human race. The animals don't do this fairness kind of thing the way we do, and it really does get in our way. And it's a scarcity thing. If you think about that story, the prodigal son, all of this lavish meal was created for him when he returned, etc., etc., and he was embraced with love by the father, etc. The older son is certainly viewing it through the lenses of scarcity. There's not enough to go around, and he did something wrong, and he should be punished, and what the hell here, right? So we can practice, we can learn from that and practice the expansion. When someone else gets something, achieves something, receives something without seemingly earning it in our way of thinking, see if you can expand your mind into that's cool. That and so much more. There's more than enough to go around. We make assumptions about what is the path to get to those things. We must work hard, we must, blah, 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 all that stuff. What if it's different? What if everybody can avail themselves of what's out there, and that our mindset is the first place that we start? Yes, currently in our living experience, some people have way more, some people have way less. But when we change the mental experience, the emotional experience, the spiritual experience of that, when we expand into these higher ways of thinking and being, then when we lead from the heart instead of the head, then there's opportunity all around us, any of us, to have things be different. All right? So, for today, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is opening your heart to love. Think about that. You could be driving home from the cottage today, and every time you pass something that puts a smile on your face, a tree, a little kid playing, whatever it is, sending out love energy to that thing. TJ and I were coming across the road this morning, and there was a little bird sitting there, and I think it might have been hurt, but I didn't want to mess with it because if I got too close with TJ, wouldn't have gone well. So I just sent it love energy, lots of love energy. Do that on your drive home. Send love energy wherever you want. Trees, birds, people, pavement, I don't care. Send love energy. Let's just see what you get. If you think of some things right now that you would like to have the rest of us send love energy to, put it in the feed. Put it in the feed. I'd like you to send love energy to my grandma. She's not feeling well. I'd like you to send love energy to my job that I'm going back to tomorrow that I don't particularly like. I'd like you to send love energy to my coworker who drives me nuts. Whatever it is. Whatever it is. Especially pick those things that are difficult. All right? Have an awesome day. We'll see you again tomorrow. Good morning, Deb. You jumped in right at the tail end, but it's a really good one. Please go back and watch. Oh, Carolyn says this is beautiful. You are welcome. You are welcome. Let's spread the love energy. And I like that you have the green, purple, and blue hearts all there. So we'll see you again tomorrow. Remember, you're capable of far more than you think you are. Make the most of this day. Bye-bye.